let's do a brief analysis of the Aramiya Eweka dynasty. Aramiya, as we all know, comes from Ife. First and foremost, who is Aramiya? As we all know from the Yoruba history, Oduduwa was the first Oni of Ife. And when Oduduwa reigned successfully and passed away, his son, Osaganga, became the second Oni of Ife. And when Osaganga passed away, his son, Ogun, became the third Oni of Ife. And when Ogun passed away, his son, Obalufono, became the fourth Oni of Ife. And when Obalufono passed away, Obalufo, his son, became the fifth Oni of Ife. And when Obalufo passed away, Aramiya, the son of Obalufo, became the sixth Oni of Ife. So if we use what we all know in arithmetic as the least common factor, LCM, we can understand that Oduduwa and Aramiya did not live at the same time. So the saying that it was Oduduwa who sent Aramiya to Bini does not fit in at all. There is no historical, empirical evidences to prove this. To cram this up, I would say, should I believe the history of the Bini, about Benin, that they went to Ife and they met Oduduwa? Or should I believe the Yorubas who are saying that the Oni of Ife became, Aramiya became the Oni of Ife 250 years, 300 years after the reign of Oduduwa? I would believe the Yorubas, because Oni Aramiya reigned in Yoruba land, not in Benin. So this is the brief history. I think with this analysis, you can connect yourself that the history that was told by the Oba of Bini is completely false. That history holds no water, has no meaning, is an attempt to brainwash the people to believe his nasty and nefarious activities. Okay? Now, the second is we are going to be talking about the empire of the Benin Empire, as we're told. The period, now we say the pre-Bini Empire period, they say, according to them, started in 1288 to 1440 AD. That was from the reign of Eweka I to Oba Waifiokun. This is the pre-Bini Empire period. In this period, they have agreed there was no empire, so the Oba of Bini was just a common king. Now, let us go and do the history of the empire period, which was 1440 to 1897, and see if actually there was an empire. This was the period of Oba Ewari the first to Ovorame in 1440 to 1897, during the reign of Ovorame. Now, having said this, I'm going to do a brief analysis of this empire period. Ewari reigned from 1440 to 1470. And as we all know in Benin history, Ewari died miserably. In fact, there is a saying in Benin, if you want to rob people of their properties, and you would go and align with Ewari. But unfortunately for him, at his old age, he was very sick. He rotted from head to toe. And he was always lamenting. And he was always saying, meaning that if he had known that, look at him, let him go, let him do what he likes, was a cause, he would have asked his people to forgive him. This finally shows that neither Ewari actually started an empire. For a man who has started an empire to live a miserable life and begin to use this kind of statement, it takes you back to the days of Aramiya, If Oromiyan had defeated the Ogiamien at that time, the word Ile Ubino would never have been used. But you see, the word Ile Ubino in Yoruba language means the land of vexation and anger, because he did not get his way through. He was sent packing, beaten back by the Ogiamien, just like Ewari. Ewari did not open up any empire, because his history is there for us to see. Now, this is an empire. This is an empire. Now, from 1480 to 1504, we had Oba Osoro. Oswald was murdered in one of his raiding missions in Edo Central. What is the raiding mission? A raiding mission is going to raid people for slavery and raid people for human sacrifices. But in one of these raidings, he was murdered. His head was cut off. This is an empire. This is the empire period that the king's head was cut off. This is an empire, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to listen carefully. Now we go to Oba Ohen. Oba Ohen reigned from 1656 to 1675. Oba Ohen was stoned to death by his followers for killing his deputy, his Iyase. This is an empire. These are the kings they were reigning, they were ruling an empire. Ohen was murdered, stoned to death by his own people, and he was the king of an empire. We will now go to the story of Ewakwe the Great. Ewakwe the Great reigned from 1701 to 1712. As we all know, Ewakwe the Great went to his mother's village, a village of about 25 to 30 kilometers from the heart of the present-day Benin City, when he had problems. The king of that village told Ewakwe to pick up a cutlass, go to the farm, and farm to feed himself, or else he should get out of his village. This was an empire period, ladies and gentlemen. In an empire, an emperor, humiliated by a king, an empire where an emperor was humiliated. This is an empire. And lastly, Ovorame. Ovorame took over the throne in 1888. And in 1897, Ovorame had problem with the British. He ordered his boys or his men to stop the British from getting to Benin because he was busy celebrating his Igwe festival. And in that festival, human beings were the instruments needed to celebrate the festival. It was a festival that often represents the act of intimidation of this emperor against his own people. But unfortunately, in 6 days, Ovorame was captured and taken to Calabar. We are still calling an empire. Well, now, let us go to the other one. There is this story that has been flying for several years, over the last 100 years, that the Obaseki, Obahawaye, and Olubusere, they gave orders for the murder of the British emissaries to Benin Kingdom. It is laughable. The Oba of Benin is a coward. Is a coward. A leader, a man of high integrity, cannot negate his actions in the face of defeat. If Oba of Benin actually had an empire before 1897, according to some of the books, he said Oba Adolo, his father, the father of Ovorame, had over 20,000 foot soldiers. All right? So you have 20,000 foot soldiers, and you were defeated by 1,200 soldiers in 1897. Again, if we apply the least common factor, we discover that the story is nothing but fabulous. Fabulous story. It's a fabu, according to, to be short, it's a fabu. Anyway, this shows again that there was no empire, because there is no way a 20,000 soldier contingent would have been defeated in 6 days by 1,200 with Dane guns. With Dane guns in the 18th century, gentlemen. we are saying that people should look at facts. We should not believe what we have been told. We should take what we have been told, try to fix it into what actually happened to see if there were facts. But unfortunately, when I look at the history provided by the Oba's family, and I look at the one provided by the British, and look at the one provided by the Ogamian, and look at the one provided by the Yorubas, I found out that the only story that does not resonate is that of the Oba of Benin. The second question would be, was Olobosere, Oba Hawaii, and Obaseki, were they the military commanders of this empire? They were never the military commanders of this empire. So for the Oba of Benin and his people to continue to malign these people, hold them responsible for their failures or their shortcomings, is still an attempt to run away from his responsibilities. Let us assume that Oba Hawaii, Olobosere, and Obaseki were commanders. After the murder of these British emissaries, the Oba of Benin, knowing well that he did not give orders for this action, would have immediately prepared emissaries to meet with the British people to discuss this issue with them by apologizing. But the Oba of Bini did not make any move to meet with the British, to discuss with the British, to apologize to the British. He stayed put in his palace, claiming to be God. And then it took the British just 30 days to organize to and fro from their base, attack him, and defeat him in 7 days. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a brief history of the Ogiso